Hi everyone, welcome back to OncoDaily. My name is Emma Ter-Azaryan, and today it's my pleasure to introduce Nancee Pronsati. Hi Nancee, it's very nice to meet you.
Hi, good morning. It's nice to meet you all.
So before we start, I would like to say that Nancee is ALK plus lung cancer survivor and also board member of ALK-positive company. I would like to ask Nancee, could you share your personal story, how and when you were first diagnosed with ALK plus lung cancer?
Sure. Yes, I was diagnosed in 2016. And so I'm a 9-year survivor of stage 4 ALK-positive lung cancer. I had been coughing and having shortness of breath for a long time, like 2 or 3 years. And I was a pretty big slow runner, but I did a lot of half marathons at the time, and I was coughing. And they kept misdiagnosing it as bronchitis and asthma and pneumonia. And then finally, a doctor sent me for an x-ray. And the reason they hadn't done that before that is I was relatively young and I had never been a smoker. I went and I had innumerable lesions in both lungs. And so it was automatically diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And I have been taking TKIs, oral chemotherapy pills, for the last 9 years.
What do you remember most about those first days after diagnosis? And how did you begin navigating your care?
Oh my gosh. I think it was just so shocking. Like, I think maybe I was in shock a little bit. I wasn't crying. I wasn't really doing anything. I had not heard of anyone who didn't smoke who had lung cancer. So that was a big educational experience for me. And I think luckily for us, we had I was living in New York City at the time, and we had some friends who stepped in and introduced me to a pulmonologist and to a doctor at MSK. I think I was mostly just frozen, not knowing what to do, and just really letting other people help me get to the right place at the very beginning.
What were the biggest challenges you faced early on your journey, and how did you find strength to move forward?
I think the biggest challenges I faced were telling my family, my sons, and my parents, just because I was so worried about how they would feel and how they would react and what they would do. So that was my first challenge, I think. And, you just have to do that. And then the next one was, at that time, people living for even 5 years with lung cancer was very unusual. And so in my brain, I was just thinking about all the things I wanted to accomplish as far as making sure my family was set up and was my dog going to be okay, all these crazy things. And then really when the medication worked really quickly on me, I started feeling like, okay, I can just try to live with this. And I think I was very lucky in that area that it worked really quickly. And so I was able to sort of change my view.
Who provided the most support to you during that whole time?
For sure, my husband has been amazing. And I think I'm lucky. I just have a really supportive, my family's been supportive. My friends have been really, even people like my husband's coworkers were doing all kinds of things, and not like things like bringing me food. I really didn't need that, but more things like helping me understand where to go for the best care and who to talk to and what cancer could be like versus just this death sentence. So I was really lucky. I think I have a good community of people that were really supportive. And my doctor was amazing.
Thank you. So I would like to dig into the details, and I would like to know, how has your experience with cancer changed the way you look at life and priorities today?
I'm probably like most cancer patients that will say, you just start to appreciate everything. Like, at least I do. I think that has helped me really appreciate just little things, like spending the time with my granddaughter or my other grandkids, a sunset, all those things. And also, I think it's helped me say, if I want to do something that sounds fun, where I might have thought, I shouldn't do that today, I just do it. I just say yes. Or also, conversely, I think you get better at saying no and not doing things that don't bring you peace or help you. So I in some ways, cancer has been a benefit, which is a weird thing to say, but I think it has. It's also helped me understand how many people are out there walking around like me that has something going on and they're just dealing with it. They're just living. And I think I didn't really realize that unless you visually saw that someone was going through something.
Well, as we know, you recently served as the lead author on a paper published in Lung Cancer, which is pretty extraordinary, because it was a patient-led. What inspired you and others to take this on?
Oh, well, I belong to a support group of ALK positive patients. There's thousands of people in this support group. And we consistently hear about the inconsistent experiences people have depending on where they're going, what doctor they're going to, like if you're going to a community oncologist, et cetera, and managing the side effects of the medicine and what amount of care they get and help they get. And so this particular publication was really designed to have patients input it to help people understand how to best manage a specific drug that's created by Pfizer called lorlatinib, which is an extraordinary drug. It has quite a lot of side effects, and sometimes people would give up taking the medicine or they would suffer with the side effects unnecessarily. So we ended up forming a team of global thoracic oncologists, incredible oncologists, as well as patients, as well as the director of research and clinical affairs from our organization, and try to write a document that helps people really work with shared decision-making with their doctors, ask the right questions about side effects, understand how to manage those side effects, understand that you can ask for a dose reduction. And so I guess at the end of the day, really the goal was to help people have a better quality of life and also be able to stay on this medication as long as possible. It's life-saving, it's life-extending, I guess, at least. And written in a way that patients could consume it, that patients could really understand it versus medical jargon. And so I'm really proud of this paper. I think it's really powerful for patients, new patients, especially of lorlatinib. They could take it to their doctor. It helps them ask all the questions. It helps them say to maybe a community oncologist who didn't ever see this information, hey, if I gain 40 pounds, maybe these are ways that we can manage it, and can you help me manage it? So I think that it's a new and interesting way of working with patients and medical experts to write these things so that they're more easily used by patients. So I think there's more effective that way.
What do you see as the most important findings from the paper, and why do they matter for people living with lung cancer?
I think the most important findings from my perspective is kind of what I just shared, which is you can manage the side effects to improve your quality of life. You can do dose changes and dose reductions. And even though there's a recommended dosage, you can work with your oncologist to modify that and still have effective treatment, effective and efficacy of the medication. I think it just gives people hope that if they are feeling side effects that feel unmanageable to them, that they can be, and help them ask the right questions to their doctor. So it helps also with, I think, educating oncologists and helping people have those conversations that they might be uncomfortable with otherwise.
Beyond research, you also serve on the board of ALK-positive. How do this advocacy role connect your personal journey?
Oh, gosh. I joined this support group and I saw some people, a very small group of people at that time, it was like 2017, who were doing amazing things, trying to fund research, trying to help people in other countries, help people get access to medication. And it just sort of, I've always done a lot of volunteer work in my life. And so it just sort of struck a nerve with me that I would want to help because I can. And if you look at lung cancer patients, probably cancer patients in general, there's varying levels of capabilities once you get this diagnosis. And I've been really lucky health-wise. And so I just feel like while I can give back, I want to. And it also makes me feel like I have some control over my own, my own future, but also that of hopefully a lot of other people.
And I would like to ask my last question for you. If you could share one message with newly diagnosed patients or with the clinicians who treat them, what would it be?
I think it would be that you're not just a patient. Once you get diagnosed with cancer, you're not just a cancer patient. You're still you. And you should still focus on living your life and having it filled with meaning that's also aside from having cancer. And I think that's the same message I would give oncologists, is to treat people as that person versus just that disease. And I think most do, but I hear stories all the time of ones that don't. So,
Nancee, it was my pleasure to talk to you today. It was very inspiring to hear your story and how it led to so many things, some research and everything that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to OncoDaily on YouTube. Hit the bell icon to stay updated.